Oh, here's your Backstage pass.
Right, quiet on the set.
Action!
Welcome to Sedona's Backstage Pass with Chandra, presented by Chef Lisa Dahl. This is your inside look into culture, curators, and creative artists. And now, your host, Chandra.
Welcome, my VIPs. You've got your Backstage Pass, and you are in. Get ready again for some more behind-the-scenes stories that you would never hear about unless you tuned in here on Sedona's Backstage Pass. And remember, you can always find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and of course, if you go to sedona.biz, you'll see the ad right there on the homepage, and you'll have two different ways to get to Spotify or Apple Podcasts right there by clicking right on the links. Speaking of Sedona.biz, I just want to give a huge shout out to them. You know, if you want to know what's going on in this community of Sedona and the Verde Valley, all you got to do is go to Sedona.biz because it is your ultimate digital hub. From breaking local news and business spotlights to arts, culture, and community voices, Tommy Acosta and his team keep the finger right on the pulse of Sedona and the Verde Valley. It's where I go and many go to stay connected, and you can too, even when you're out of town, of course, because it's online. So check them out, Sedona.biz, and get your daily dose of everything local Sedona and the Verde Valley. And the Sedona International Film Festival. I got to tell you, I am just so excited to be affiliated with them with my In the Living Room music series. And most of you know that Sedona International Film Festival, better known as SIFF, brings world-class cinema, incredible documentaries, I just love those, and stellar live theater productions, that's right, Sedona Professional Theater Company, to our Red Rocks all year round at the Mary D. Fisher Theater and the Alice Gill Sheldon Theater. And there's always something brilliant playing, right? Could be music, like the In the Living Room music series, or just concerts, wonderful music concerts that are going on over there often, monthly comedy nights, all kinds of wonderful things. So head on over to SedonaFilmFestival.com and see what's going on their events calendar. That's right, they've got one. You can purchase your tickets there or go to the door. And speaking of wonderful events, I got one more company to tell you about. A big, big, big thank you to Verve Events and Tents for showing up on the mountain this weekend at the big Flagstaff Hullabaloo. It's a big festival, and you're going to experience their incredible work firsthand because Verve is providing all the gorgeous tents, the chairs, the stage, and even the dance floor to keep the party moving. And whether you're planning a massive festival or an intimate backyard gathering right here in this area, Verve brings the magic. So visit verveeventsandtents.com to elevate your next event, or maybe you'd like to throw a big wedding or an anniversary party or a birthday party or a holiday party, because they're coming up. Can you believe it? We're already starting in June. Well, thank you for joining us. And I say us because I have Scott Yates, not in my studio, in his studio. This is part 2, you guys. Remember, I told you about part 1 at the end. I said, you got to stick around. You got to come back a few days later. And it's unusual that I do this, but I am so thrilled that I get to interview you again, Scott. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you for letting me be here.
This is your studio,
I love
man.
having a conversation with you. You have wonderful energy.
Thank you.
And how not only your performances that I've seen, you're amazing.
Thank you.
But I've heard you and Lisa on your episodes with her and other guests on your podcast. Absolutely incredible.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. And I'll tell you what, I absolutely am so thrilled, grateful. All of the big words, I could think of a whole list of them. I use them all the time. You probably get real tired of me, you guys, using them, but I really do mean this. You and Lisa and the Dahl Restaurant Group being my presenting sponsor means everything to me. I mean, you guys are awesome. And you don't know this, but I marry people, right? I do this kind of like I officiate. I've been officiating since 2020. And I tell everybody, I ask them, where are you going? A lot of them say Mariposa. The other day, just 2 days ago, someone said, Dahl and DeLuca. I said, make sure you go say hi to Chef Lisa, because I think she's going to be there around 9 p.m. Because I know where you eat. Okay.
It's the place for romance, is Dahl and DeLuca.
It is. And it's still romantic, isn't it?
It is.
Between you guys. It's
It really
just,
is.
I love it. And you're in that beautiful restaurant. It's romantic, lovely. Dahl and DeLuca, you guys, make sure you go when you come here. And for those of you who reside here, get there. It's important. Date night.
Date night.
Right.
Date night, live jazz, amazing award-winning food.
Fantastic. So tell me something. When you're traveling, where are you? Are you right there on the premises at the event? And what are you doing?
Yeah. So, as an example, you have Santa Fe Chili and Wine Fiesta. We take a catered van. We take one of our catering vans, and it is loaded up with all the ingredients, everything that Lisa is going to cook with. Sometimes she'll do a main event with other chefs, and then there is probably another part of the food festival which she'll do, and all of that takes planning, logistics, communications, and that's where I get involved. I don't get involved in the food. They got enough help for that.
So when you say a catering van, is this like loaded with IT as well?
No.
Okay. I have like this imagination. I'm thinking FBI, and he's got all the things in the van.
I got microphones.
That's
I got
it.
cameras.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you're filming. You've got mics on people. Okay, so the catering van, do you have like a group of people coming with you?
Yeah, we'll have 2 or 3 people that
Okay.
join us from the organization.
All right. And are they doing any chef type things as well, or are they're preparing, they're doing all of those things?
They all team up. Lisa guides everything that's going on. They're prepping, they're, preparing, they're getting everything lined up, usually a day in advance, getting everything stowed away. Usually they'll work in a hotel kitchen at the event.
Oh, okay. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have places locally like Devour in Phoenix where we'll serve 12 to 1,500 people on an afternoon. And so there's an entire theme that's built around that day. We'll have a 10 by 20 tent. I outfit the entire thing in terms of our brands and everything like that. And the kitchen is laid out. You can see everything in action. And of course, Lisa's right there at the front serving, talking to people, and everybody's in the background making sure that she has everything that she needs.
Fantastic. So where in the world, you've got to have like so much space to have all this food for 1,200, 1,500 people. How does that work?
Yeah.
Do you buy the food there when you get there?
No. Typically, we'll make most everything to a stage up here in Sedona. Then we'll pack it all up, drive it down there, and then the tents will be set up for us, and then we unload and outfit it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. So what is the wildest thing that has ever happened to you at any of these events? I'm talking about tell us something that I know I've called and Lisa goes, I can't talk to you right now. I'm in the middle of a butter crisis. I'm like, a butter crisis? What does that look like? Things are not arriving on time or something's, or maybe it was cheese. Yeah, that's what it was. Excuse me. It wasn't butter. It was like, I'm in the middle of a cheese crisis. Okay. Arrival, all these things. You're at an event. What is the wildest, craziest thing that has ever happened to you where it was just like, you've got to be kidding me?
She actually said yes to doing Nantucket Food and Wine Festival.
Nantucket. So tell us about that. I don't know what that is.
Nantucket is an incredible wine festival, but it's on an island off of Cape Cod, and everything gets flown in, and you got to fly in. You fly in a four-seat, jet, and
what?
Yeah,
okay, how do you get all
and
your
Lisa
food there?
is flipping out. She's like, "Get me off of this little shoebox. I don't want to."
And what are you like at this time?
I got my camera out. I'm videotaping her and all this.
This is great. She's like, get that camera off me.
Get it off me.
That's hysterical.
I don't have any makeup on. Are you kidding me?
So she's so gorgeous. She doesn't need makeup.
So to answer your question,
Yes.
you come in and for the most part they're ready for you. They got your hotel set up for you. You've flown in. You fly in frozen
on a
stuff.
shoebox.
Well, you
Really?
you ship in
Yeah.
FedEx containers of food that's already prepped and all this kind of stuff.
Oh
and
my God.
sometimes plateware and silverware and glassware.
So, okay, how many days does it take to get there?
Well, one day, well, you fly into New York and then you take a flight out the next morning, that kind of thing.
Well, what about the food?
The food is in a FedEx truck somewhere, going to the airport to get flown over. And
how many? But like, okay, I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. We got food coming from Sedona.
Yep.
And we got to get it into a FedEx truck, all packed up and everything,
Yeah.
cold,
Yeah.
all that stuff, ice and everything.
Dry ice, the whole
Okay.
works.
And now, how long does it take to get to New York and then to Nantucket?
Well, we'll ship it the day that we leave, right? And then we go
Right.
do our thing, and somebody on that end is going to receive it and stick it in a walk-in freezer, hopefully. Right.
Oh my God! This
And
is
hope
like
that
this is nervous breakdown material.
Yeah, well, you're always going to be surprised when you open it up. Well, we had shipped in all these empanadas. Lisa was doing this private dinner for 40 people, and it was being paired with a company called Alma Viva Wines out of Chile, and it was part of the Rothschild family set of wines.
Oh no!
And
This is like heavy pressure.
It is unbelievable. Well, they have, of course, promoted it to Lisa like this and everything's like roses and sunshine and everything. You get there and it's like she's prepping in this shoebox that has like one stove, and she has like one prep chef that has never held a knife before and that kind of stuff. These are the kinds of things that happen when you go into a remote event like that.
Yeah.
But it ended up turning out, because of Lisa's perseverance, she'll get up in the morning, she goes, this is not happening today. The good stuff is happening today. And she just barrels forward, and everybody pitches in, including me. I didn't know I was a sous chef until I met Lisa. So every event we go to, I am now a sous chef.
I love it.
And so I will do some sort of food thing.
Good
right?
for you. So you said you didn't do any food things.
Well,
in
only
the last
I do what
interview.
I'm told.
Oh,
How's that sound?
Okay, all right, I understand this because, yes, that would be me with Tom. When we were ever setting up.
Another example is that, like for Blessed by Grace documentary.
Yes,
we just came back from St. Helena's Film to Fork, and it was this little teeny film festival. But they put us on this compound, and we had this guest house, and we brought empanadas for like the little teaser before you went into the film, and it was such a wonderful experience. But here's how funny it is: you think everything's all glamorous and everything. You go to a film festival, we have the empanadas baking in the person's oven in their house, right? And we load up the back of their SUV and our rental car and everything. We have these sheet pans full of hot empanadas, and we drive 2 blocks down, and we walk them into the theater, and people are literally waiting in line because they are going to get that one empanada. They've been waiting 30 minutes, and they're
done it.
What
are you talking about?
They're getting it, and
I love it.
They turn out great. And you go in, you sit down, you watch the film, and everything works out great.
I know, it's like, the panic though.
Well, you know what? You have more panic than the guests. The guests never see it.
That's the key.
Yeah.
We never let them see us sweat.
Never let them see us sweat.
No. Remember the trapeze guy? Remember that couple up there?
Yes.
That's you too.
That's it.
Tom and I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been on that trapeze, and you're like going, holy crap.
Okay,
my
Lisa,
God.
you put this parachute on. I'll hold on to your legs.
I have to say, that's really funny because I could see that. I could actually see that. It's like she's carrying you. I love it. So it is that we never want to let it look like it's hard, difficult, challenging.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's how it goes down. I'm meant to do that.
When you're a pro and that's what you're trying to project. I mean, some people don't care about that stuff. We care.
Absolutely.
I mean, she has brought that with her from her childhood and her family and how they grew up because of her parents and how her parents operated in business. They were professional. They taught her a lot. I came out of a big corporate IT world, and you were with Fortune 50 company CEOs and CFOs, and you were guiding them down a IT path that they hadn't gone down before. And you have to be able to deliver some hard, crude information. It's like, look, you guys really screwed this up. This is how we're going to fix it.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult.
Yeah.
That's a certain kind of leadership where you're dealing with someone who's hiring you, and you have to tell them now, oh, wow, this is a mess. Yeah.
Well, and the good thing is, see, Lisa and our executive team, we all work hard at guiding this company. every morning there's problems to solve, there's things to fix. It's always HR. There's always something in terms of hiring somebody. But for the most part, the teams work wonderful together. There's very few issues internally in terms of what somebody has done, and you got to go correct all that. That generally doesn't happen. But what does happen is that you need to fill open slots, especially since COVID. And so Christian, our director of operations, and Lisa, they'll meet every morning and they rally for the day. There's a long-term strategy for the week, but they rally for the day, anything that has popped up, and they figure things out. Where I jump in, it's always, mine is always kind of cyclical. You got to check on equipment. You got to check on communications. You got to check on menus. You got to check on security systems, all of that kind of stuff that happens. And it's when you're in that wheel that's constantly spinning like that, you get used to it. And it's really something that's exciting. It's like when you get out of bed in the morning, it's like, oh, right. Okay. Listen, Lisa, I got to take care of this, and this. I said, oh, and by the way, good morning. I love you.
Yeah, right. I know, right. You're a man on a mission, but she's also a woman on a mission. Let me just say, she is something.
She is. But first, there's Leonardo. And Leonardo, our little Maltipoo, he has to get his morning mommy love.
Yes, I understand that Leonardo very recently, and probably since you told me this story, took you outside at 4:30 a.m. just to take a good look around.
Oh, he did, and I love him for that.
Of course you do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he's
Dimple,
part of the,
Dimple.
Right? He's part of the poodle group.
He is.
And poodles are from a different planet. We had 2 of them, I know.
I wish he knew some IT. I'd hire him because he knows everything.
He does. He's like, that's what they do. They run everything. They're like, who's running this house? Oh, yeah, Cammie. Okay. Mm-hmm. We're all listening to her. And so anyway, no, I totally get it. So tell me, what was, we're going behind the scenes, you guys. What was the most craziest thing that's happened to you with IT? Because I know how things work. Things disappear. Things go bye-bye. There could be some sort of a thing where you get some malware thing or whatever. This is not easy. You've got 6 restaurants. You're in charge of everything, the advertising, all of it. It's all of it. What was something that happened that just blew your mind? You got through it. But it was like, whoa, what am I going to do?
Well, the good news is that we have a really good integrator who takes care of all of our networks.
Thank God.
They're here in Sedona. They're incredible. We've worked with them for years. So we know that we have the security. We know that there's no penetration coming into the
good.
In terms of malware and that kind of stuff. We're safe there.
Good.
Our issue is that the Sedona infrastructure in terms of networks like fiber and APS. APS is going through this huge transition right now. Our biggest thing is that when we lose power, we have you have to rally, and we have backup plans on backup plans. You need lighting, how you going to run your POS systems, all this kind of stuff. Well, I've built this tech stack in our company that allows us to function, in the event that emergencies do happen. And what do we do when this happens? And what do you do when this happens? That kind of thing. So
right. Has anything like that happened?
Yeah. Oh, it happens. It happened 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
The entire, APS decided, okay, we're going to shut the village down. And that went on for like a couple hours, and then it just pops back on. Well, everything resets. Right.
I know it's not easy.
And you never know what's going to come back on and all this kind of stuff. And people are texting you and calling you. And we just happened to be out of town at the time.
Oh, that's fun.
But that's the beauty of how it's all architected and how the tech stack is all put together, is that I can almost run the company technologically from my phone.
Wow.
And but it's taken a while to get there.
Yeah, that's a big deal. When you're away, it seems very intense, because you can't get there. But if you can do it from your phone or from your own computer, wherever you are, that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
That's a safeguard, that's for sure. So anything crazy ever happened? Like where it was just, thank goodness, knock on wood, it's all good.
No. We had a little email scare a couple weeks ago. where, a document got opened that was a phishing scam and that kind of stuff, but we were able to contain it. And,
Good.
And so, those real world things happen. It's, Sedona's beautiful. Everything's wonderful. Everybody's here on vacation doing their thing and all that kind of stuff. But behind the scenes, the real world still exists even in Sedona.
Oh, that is a fact. Are you good with crisis? Are you good? Like, are you like calm, cool?
Yeah.
How's
Good,
Lisa
good.
during that?
She's calm too.
Is she really?
She's really, in the face of, hers is guest relations or something has happened to the food.
Right.
And she is she's been at this for 30 years.
That's right.
She's a pro.
Totally.
And so you can't solve things in panic mode.
No, you cannot.
Right.
Let me tell you something. I've had crazy things happen. You've got 150 people out there, and all of a sudden the lights go out. And that happened to Tom and I, and it was like the first time we played Relics. Now there weren't 150 people at that one. There were about 80 people, 70, 80 people. And I just went to press something because the way I used to put our shows together is I would just press one button and all of the arrangements that I did, all the dialogue beds, all the pauses so we could talk, were all there. Okay. And so we're at Relics for the first time, and I just didn't even press anything, and the lights went out. I was like, oh, no. And we had no instruments with us because these are all tracks, right? And I had no references to keys. And so Tom and I are like, oh, no.
So
and
what'd you do?
It was the first time we worked there. Well, so what happened was we had little lights. At 5 minutes, 10 minutes into this, because I announced, okay, the lights went out. The lights will be coming on soon. We'll start our show. And now it's getting dark outside, and the candles are lit and everything, and they're getting their food. And Tom comes over and he goes, Chandra, we have to do something. We got to get going here. We got to do something. So I'm like, well, what do you want to do? And he goes, well, let's get the little lights and let's just shine them on each other and have some fun with this. So we did. We did sing-alongs. That was the first part. And then my partner, as I'm looking at him, as I am finding myself say this to the audience, now we know that this is not the show that you came and paid for, so if you don't feel like paying for it, he's looking at me like, stop talking. Never happens. And so, he's smiling at me like, I can tell. He's like, oh, Chandra, what are you doing? And so anyway, long story short, it never went on. An hour and a half. And we actually took requests, okay? And I was like, oh my God, there's only one key we can sing that in. We did it. We did duets. Tom did music of the night. We did all these things. And afterwards, the lights still weren't on. And it was like the Poseidon Adventure without the water. We were trying to get everyone out.
But it was beautiful.
And yes, and this is what happened. Went home, my computer was rolling. This was all electricity from it wasn't raining, just a light, bolt or whatever. And so I'm like, this can't be happening. There has to be a good reason for it. Now it's 1 a.m. My computer is wiped out by the guy helping me on the phone until 12:30. I have nothing in my computer now because I don't have you, like an IT guy. And I'm like, I go to bed and I'm weepy. Like, okay. I call the person who is running Relics. God bless him. And he says, yeah, why don't you come over here on Monday? I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So we go over there on Monday, and he goes, take a seat. This is Joe. Love the guy. Got along great with him.
Yeah.
And he opens up this book, huge book, and he goes, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Any date you want.
Whoa.
And we worked there and worked there and worked there. Anytime we wanted to run a show before we toured, before we went to Phoenix, we worked there all the time. Did my CD parties there. He was like, sure, come on over. It was incredible. All because of that.
How do you handle things under pressure?
Yeah. Because I've never seen anything like that. We've had this happen before, and people unplug and go home. And they got a whole bunch of people waiting there.
For people who have never seen you perform, they owe it to themselves to hunt you down and watch you perform.
Thank you. Well, that was Tom and I have to say, that was a wild ride. Now, let's talk about you for a moment here. What is coming up? What's coming up here? I know this podcast is going to be, you've got all these different things popping up on the website, don't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
So we have a new press and media system coming up, and your episodes are going to be on there.
Yay, with Lisa.
With
All the
Lisa.
Lisa ones.
And
Yeah.
so basically it's the highlights of what we have been doing or what we are going to do. Excuse me a second. Thank you very much.
There you go.
And so we have that going on. Plus we have, we're pushing out the a film, Blessed by Grace, Lisa Dahl, Blessed by Grace. We're trying to get that submitted out onto some streaming platforms. And so those are 2 big pushes. But more importantly, what's happening is internally we're building a internal communications application that kind of is our operations eyes and ears on everything. And so that's coming out. But what's really interesting is that Lisa and Christian communicate so well that you almost don't need the technology. And they're like a hand in a glove. I mean, we've looked for a director of operations for years that really could fill this role. And Christian is amazing. And Lisa and he just like work together. So they're constantly giving me feedback. And it all comes down to, this, it sounds kind of boring, but it's the same old stuff over and over and over. Because the restaurant business is all about you giving great hospitality and service and making people feel welcome. And when people travel, they're stressed, they're dehydrated, they're traveling with screaming kids. The flight got in late, the hotel didn't have their room. There's a million things, right? We've all experienced it when we've traveled. But, our job is to make them feel at home. And we have a great reservation system for our fine dining restaurants. And that brings in all the information that we can get from them. And then when they show up, then we are able to talk to them about, oh, welcome. Thank you for being, we know their names. We know how many's in their party, allergies, that kind of stuff. What's really important is that you want to give people the sense that they actually belong and they've come with high expectations, because our restaurants have multiple awards. Mariposa is #1 international restaurant in the state of Arizona.
Wow.
Dahl and DeLuca, Pizza Lisa, Butterfly Burger, all in the top 10. This is all from Ranking Arizona here in just 2026.
Incredible.
2024, Dahl and DeLuca was voted #7 in the nation for most romantic destinations in the U.S.
Incredible.
Yeah. And so what we do is I take that information and we build email campaigns, and we build classy ads that don't necessarily speak to, oh, look at us, we're doing this, etc. It's more about what comes from our heart, what the philosophy is. Lisa's presence is important because she's a brand icon. And that is important especially for me in terms of building that brand and modeling that brand. And so we constantly are talking about, what's happening, how she feels about certain things. Or, vision is great, but things change midstream. It's like, well, what? I don't feel this. I don't feel this anymore. I think I'm going to change this. And so we'll start to work on molding that. And so guests aren't surprised. It's like, well, it wasn't like that last time I was here. I was like, well, guess
Change.
what? Now it's elevated.
Yeah,
much
that's right.
more than what it was.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I can't believe we've run out of time. Now, we're going to have another interview coming up here. And what's exciting to me is we're getting to know so much about what you do and the business behind the business. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so thank you so much for being here, Scott. Scott Yates. You see Scott around, go give him a big hug.
Yeah.
He's a hugger, and he needs a hug because he's working all the time. And God bless you guys. You're doing such a great job here. And
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with me. And everybody stay with me. I will be right back. You can taste it in every bite. For over 30 years, Chef Lisa Dahl has redefined what it means to dine in Sedona, serving soulful and handcrafted cuisine inspired by love, artistry, and community. From the original little kitchen at Dahl and DeLuca to the majestic spirit of Mariposa to the couture flair of Butterfly Burger, every experience is elevated, every ingredient intentional. In every dish, you experience Lisa's lifelong mantra, when you cook, you feed the soul. To learn more about Lisa Dahl and the Dahl restaurants, please visit cheflisadahl.com.
When your project demands precision, experience, and trust, turn to Sefton Engineering Consultants. From expert civil engineers to construction management, we deliver real-world solutions that stand the test of time. With over 30 years in the business, Luke Sefton's team is committed to getting your project done right, on time, and on budget. Sefton Engineering Consultants. Reliable, experienced, personal. Learn more at seftonengineeringconsultants.com.
Here's more of Backstage Pass with Chandra, brought to you by Chef Lisa Dahl.
My next guest is someone I've known for a pretty long time. And during that time, she has changed occupations or added things to what she does. She's an artist. She's brilliant. She's a lawyer. And the artwork is just over the top incredible, and was my neighbor for a long time. It felt like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't that long. Brenda Man Fletcher, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, neighbor.
I know, you still are my neighbor.
You are my neighbor. We will be forever neighbors.
I know. It's like I would open my door and there you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, facing my door.
You taught me how to properly water a shrub. I still do it to this day. That's why all of my greenery died in the past.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. I wish I were kidding.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So what did I tell you? I don't remember.
You had said you were taking a trip. I think it was when you were in Ireland.
Oh,
maybe.
It was 2019.
Yeah. And so I think the whole time you were gone, every day I went and you were like, just put it right on the root. Just put the hose right on top of it.
Okay.
1 to 2 minutes. And I did every single shrub. I was like, I'm going to do this for my shrubs. And lo and behold, things started living.
There you go.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah. Water. What a concept. Yeah.
Tells you something.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh yes, watering is a good thing.
Yeah.
Even for us. Okay. So let's talk about this.
Yes.
First of all, you are a lawyer.
I am a lawyer.
When did you get a degree? I'm curious. It is a degree. Am I saying this right?
I did. Yes. I went to Widener University.
Oh.
It has a Delaware campus and a Pennsylvania campus. I went to the Delaware campus and I graduated in 1999.
Oh.
So pre-Y2K.
Okay.
And I practiced in New Jersey.
What kind of law?
Different kinds. I was across a couple different offices, so I have seen the loveliest and the grittiest, and I think I probably learned the most in the grittiest, but I loved most of it. I started out, I was in wireless telecom and zoning and land use, and that was a wonderful office because I didn't litigate.
So you didn't want to be in front of people, like defending, or did you do that?
I thought I was going to be an estate planning attorney when I was in. First of all, like I ended up in law school. I would almost say by accident. It was the right thing. The universe clearly wanted me there, but not for the reasons that you'd think. And because I went to Penn State for my undergrad, I got my bachelor's at Penn State, and I studied writing. And thinking, when I walked in the door at Penn State, I thought, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a pediatrician. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And then sharp left turn, and I ended up with a writing degree, which was wonderful because it was my passion at the time. And then, in the 90s, as sometimes right now, we were like, well, what are you going to do with a writing degree? And I remember talking to this college advisor, and he's like, well, I teach writing and I was an English major. And he says, and whenever young people come in and say, my parents are asking me, what are you going to do with a writing degree? I'm like, well, what are you not going to do? He says, because I can never think of any job that I've ever seen that didn't have some amount of writing. And this is, email was very, very young at this point in time. But that's what I say to people now. I'm like, I have used my writing degree in every single job and career that I've had, including my current one. And sometimes I'm the only person on a team that's writing, and it really, really helps to have somebody that knows their way around grammar, knows their way around MLA
no, it's
format.
The truth.
Oh, I know.
Gosh, yes.
And so then I was in college, and I was sort of toward the end of college. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm going to do with my writing degree. And I was a senior. And I had met this person who was going for his master's in microbiology. And he was like, well, you're a really great researcher. And I was like, well, thank you. He says, you should go to law school. And I was like, well, I don't like to argue. He says, well, no, the best lawyers are actually the best researchers and writers. And so whenever you see somebody that's like arguing in court or, is kind of speaking, or the A Few Good Men type of thing, he's behind that attorney are really great researchers and writers. Yeah.
Cool.
So I went with that, and I applied to my law school. I got into my law school, and I had no idea what to expect. I was reading these books the summer before law school, like 1L and the paper chase and stuff like that. I was like, I think I might be in trouble. And I got there and I did well in law school and I loved it. I actually loved law school in some ways more than I loved practicing law. I got out into the world and I had a wonderful first office. That's where I did the land use. I did the wireless telecommunications. And, there's just things in the culture of the practice of law that you have to get used to. I loved interacting with clients. I didn't have a lot of, it wasn't a very adversarial job, my first job. So like I usually joke with people that I spent more time with civil engineers and architects and, zoning boards of adjustment than I did with other attorneys and judges. And then I segued into my second job, which was in personal injury plaintiffs litigation. Oh my goodness. And
that has got to be a whole different ballgame.
I think my nervous system still hasn't quite recovered
I would imagine
from that.
That's true.
And I did it for under a year. It's like every job that I've ever had, I went there because there was another attorney that I already knew. So it's really true when they say that, like, I don't think that you necessarily find work by just kind of cold sending out your resume or like however you do it now. Like I think now they do it a lot more electronically and you're hitting a submit button someplace on the internet. In those days, it was like you knew somebody.
Yes, and I think it is the same way in my business. Mm-hmm. It's all about who you know. Mm-hmm. Really, truly.
Absolutely.
Now, I met you when you were working on the campaign for Diane Jones,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
That was in when?
2015 to 2016. Diane Jones for Yavapai County Supervisor. That was a great time.
It was.
Yeah.
And I think, were you new in town at that point?
No. I had come to the Verde Valley in 2007. And at the time I was engaged and I had accepted a job as the Jerome's town manager.
Oh my gosh.
Which I did from 2007 until my son was born in 2009. And it was really amazing. It was a job that I was able to get. My final law practice job in New Jersey, I worked for a small firm that represented the New Jersey risk pool, which is like the insurer that does the municipalities, particularly in northern New Jersey. So our clients were town managers and their municipalities, mayors and councils, a lot of police work, and that's some of the best work that I've ever done. I loved working with police. I loved working with cities and managers. And so when I was engaged and I was talking to my then fiance, who became my husband, he was like, what would you want to do? And I was like, if you know who your police chief is, ask them when they get sued, what law firms do they go to? Do you know your police chief? And he's like, oh, I do. Because up in Jerome, everybody is related to the police chief then, who was our chief, Alan Muma, who's since retired and moved back to Michigan. Like he was also, I think, involved with the Historical Society. And then Sean knew him through something called the Art Park that is no longer up there. But Sean had called me from like town hall on his cell phone and he was like, would you ever be interested in applying for town manager? They have a vacancy. I was like, yes.
Town manager is city manager, right?
City manager.
Amazing.
Yeah, municipal management.
What a job.
It's
a big job.
It was a big job. It was wonderful. I met some of my best friends in that job, including Diane Jones. I met her when I was manager and she was mayor of Cottonwood. We would see each other at the same intergovernmental meetings. We were, all the different things. And then one of the people that hired and mentored me, it's the mayor and council that hires you, but like he was sort of responsible for, showing me the ropes and stuff, was my friend Al Palmieri, who passed away in December of 2019, but like became one of my best friends.
I love it. So now, you did that for 7 years?
No, just two. Just
2 years.
2 years.
Okay,
so
and then you became the campaign. No, you weren't the campaign manager.
There was a lot of time. Yeah.
You were the communications
manager. Well, a communications director for the campaign.
For Diane Jones. Yeah.
Yes.
So now we're going to fast forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You moved out of our neighborhood.
I did.
And other places.
Kicking and screaming. I did not want to leave.
I know.
Yeah.
And then now you're doing art.
I do art.
And I had no idea you had an art background. Did you know you had an art background?
a child artist. So I think all children are artists. That's something that I've heard said, all children start out as artists, and then like the world kind of knocks the art and the creativity out of them and asks them to conform and says, do these courses at school and stuff. And so I was that kid who, I was thinking about this the other day. I grew up outside of Philadelphia in the suburbs, and I remember that there was this family that had moved into our neighborhood, and I didn't know anything about them, but they renovated their house, and everybody was invited for this little open house, and they were a husband and wife artist team. They were both illustrators, so she would illustrate storybooks, and he did like posters for the local radio station. So there was this beautiful poster for like the classical music station that had like all of the great like Bach and Beethoven and Brahms and all of them, and he worked it in with a rainbow and stuff. Well, they renovated the entire upper floor of their house to make a giant art studio that they would share.
Very cool.
I was in the 5th grade when they did this. We went for the open house, and I was just in awe. I was in awe of what I didn't recognize then was a sacred space.
Right.
That these people, much like you have this studio that like is in your living space, and it is sacred. And what I ended up doing, I ran home and I picked out a corner of my bedroom and I made it into this little art studio.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'd never done more than color in a coloring book before, I'm pretty sure. And for whatever reason, I started drawing in order to live up to the notion of having this sacred creative space.
This brings me to something I always talk about, which is this. We make a great impact on people. What we do is an example of what can be, perhaps in this particular case, right? And also just how we live our lives. We don't know who we're impacting, but art especially impacts people. And it did with you.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
how old were you then?
I was maybe 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Great age for that.
Yeah, 10, 11. Yeah.
It's so interesting. So tell everybody about your art. You do many things. You make jewelry.
I do.
And you're also doing paintings.
I do. I make mixed media work, mostly on paper, but I'm not picky about a surface. So it had started out that I was taking an online course involved with Jungian psychology, which is something that I love. I mean, we were talking about purpose and passion earlier.
Yes.
That is a purpose and passion that I have. So there was an online course, and one of the ways that you could respond to the course was artistically, but there was no assignment or anything like that. And so I was doing all these little things, mostly doodling, and then finally, like one day, I just sort of set up a piece of acrylic paint paper, and then I just started working on it with inks, with acrylic markers, with watercolors. And it became what has been the first painting of this era of my creative life. And wonderful. I wasn't even thinking anything of it. I literally took a snapshot of it on my phone and I sent it to my best friend who lived in Florida at that time. And her mother, who basically is like my mother too, she basically starts measuring out wall space, being like, can she get it for me as like a poster that would fit?
Oh my gosh.
I did. I mean, the first thing I did with this thing, I mean, it's barely even dry. And I took it over to my friends at Staples and had it made into a 24 by 36 poster. And that was just the start of it. And then at other points in time when I have gone to have the same thing printed out, people have bought it right there at the counter being like, is that yours? And you know what? It's one of those things where it was a blessing, because if that had never happened, I wouldn't. You wake up one day and you have an art business. That's what I say to people. I monetized my therapy, and then one day I woke up and somehow I had this art business. So I had to learn how to do the bookkeeping, and I had to learn how to do the social media for that, because it's very different than doing social media for somebody else's business or for a campaign.
I mean, this is daunting.
Yeah.
I know for myself now, self-producing my podcast.
Yes.
It is daunting at
It
first.
Yeah.
Once you get it, though.
Yeah.
Once you're in there.
Yeah.
It really feels good, right?
You catch yourself up and you get empowered, and you take the next 3 right steps. Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah, really good. Well, your art is very beautiful.
Thank you.
And I love your jewelry.
Thank you.
Loving your jewelry. Yeah. And your paintings are gorgeous, and you also have some postcards and things like that.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Where can people get your work?
I am, if you are in the greater Verde Valley area, my work is on permanent display and for sale at the Village Gallery of Local Artists over in the village of Oak Creek. It's
yes,
right
I know
across
where
from
that
the
is.
Speedway. And then I have a website at manscribe.com. Man, my last name is Man, like Tom is a man, and I am a man too. M as in Mary, A, N as in Nancy, and Scribe, those people that write.com. And yeah, and I'm at shows. I'm at like art fairs once the season starts around the Verde Valley, and just have a really great time meeting people and talking about art. It's funny, I was having this great conversation the other day with a friend, because some people will look at abstract art and they'll be like, well, I could do that. And I'm like, I hope you do. I hope, like, that's my greatest wish, because if everybody in the world were making art, we'd have a better world.
I think so too. I mean, no, I think that also. You know, we are we're going through some real transitions, aren't we? In
Yes.
this country, especially.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that you have a background of you're Chinese. Yes,
I am, yes.
How does that feel in this environment that's been going on? Because. And I mean, you know, I step lightly asking you this because it could be uncomfortable, but we're behind the scenes here. I'm going to tell you.
Absolutely.
What was one of the things that happened to you specifically? So we can't change the way we look. This is the way it goes,
Absolutely.
right? And, you know, we can change what we say that somebody might reflect some sort of opinion towards us. What religion we are, let's say, or what your political beliefs are. But you're Chinese.
Yes.
There's nothing you can change about that.
That's
right?
true.
Right? So how did it feel during COVID? What was that like for you? Or what is it like for you now when it's up for discussion about immigrants? Your dad is an immigrant.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's important. This whole country was
Yeah.
built
Yeah.
on immigrants.
Yeah.
No matter how you slice it. You
I
know.
have learned so much about this experience that our country is in right now, learning about immigration, learning about our country's relationship to immigrants. And we all have, like, as citizens of this community, I mean that nationally, that we all have a relationship with immigrants. Because technically, unless we were indigenous, unless we have indigenous ancestry in some way, we're all immigrants. But my father, my father was born overseas in Asia, and then he was raised in Hong Kong after the war. And then he came to this country to go to college. He has become this very, very proud alumni for University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love
but
that.
he jumped through all the hoops necessary to get citizenship in this country. And he's very proud of that citizenship. Like, he's proud of his opportunity that he has to vote, and he takes that very, very seriously.
Very seriously. Voting
Yes.
is important.
And, you know, as things started to change more recently, you know, so I will share this, that, like, this is one of those periods of time when I carry a passport card around with me everywhere. You know, I have a driver's license, but, like, sometimes you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. And I remember back in 2009 when my son was first born, and there was some things happening then too. You know, there were some things happening, and that was under a completely different presidential administration.
Yeah.
But
Not very much, though.
not very much. But at that point in time, I think also being a new parent then, I had an infant that you couldn't quite tell what ethnicity he was. And I used to joke that Elias, so my son is part Chinese and he's part Caucasian, part of, like, European ancestry. And so he would, like, wake up in the morning and he'd actually look very Caucasian. And then around midday, he looked kind of Mediterranean. Like, he kind of had, like, this tannish look. And then toward the end of the day, he looked more Asian. And you can see that in photographs. Like, they
That's
look
so
like
funny.
completely different babies.
I love that.
And what I was doing was I was carrying his birth certificate and my passport around with me, because you were hearing stories about people being pulled over for traffic violations and then maybe not having the right paperwork on them.
Jeez.
So I wanted to make sure that I had the right paperwork.
That's crazy. So, well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Did it affect you at all during COVID? Did you feel anything coming at you? There's a lot. I mean, listen, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, we don't really talk about politics here. And I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking more about, you know, this has to affect your art. I would imagine that just like songwriting.
Yeah.
What I go through
Yeah.
ends up being I get influenced by what I've gone through.
Yeah.
And even though I may be writing for another project,
Yeah.
I'm going to be reflecting on my own feelings about certain things that have happened to me that I can
Absolutely.
relate to what I'm writing about.
Yes.
And I would imagine your art is doing that. So
Yeah.
when we're talking about during COVID, there was a lot of finger pointing towards China.
Yeah.
Did you feel anything from that?
I was aware of my privilege of being here in Sedona. Because
yes.
I was shielded in a lot of ways from, but I knew people, Asian people, some of my relatives, but more distant relatives that were living more in cities, or living in other places where they were actually taking the brunt, where like if they were going out and running errands during COVID, there were people that were saying awful things to them. In Sedona, I wasn't experiencing that, but like it was an empathy. It was definitely, it was hard to read the news.
Oh,
you know,
yes, it was
obviously
very
it was hard to
difficult.
read the news.
I can't even imagine.
There
what
were
you're feeling.
conversations that I had with my child, you know, who he was much younger than, I think he was like in 5th and 6th grade during COVID. But, you know, we would have conversations about like, you know, why are they saying this? Why are they doing this? And they were important conversations to have.
Hard conversations, but you did it anyway.
Yeah.
So has that affected your art? Do you feel that was there anything from that time that you find yourself reflecting how you can put that into your art?
You know something interesting? I wasn't quite doing it in this way yet. So I started that first painting that I talked about.
Yes.
That was the summer of 2022. So I was not making this kind of art in the thick of it then. Then I was more just trying to show up at like a journal page and maybe sketch. And I have some of those, they were line drawings more. And I'm only just now starting to get to working with those into like a final draft format. But if you've seen, I don't think I've yet shown you my calendar. My calendar actually has, I took some of those line drawings and then I made them into like sanguine oil lead pieces and chalk pieces. And so I have these very archetypal things that came out of them. So like we just recently had the Fallen Heroes golf tournament that my friend Jim Yakovachi spearheads. And I
Love Jim.
Love Jim.
Shout out to you, Jim.
Shout out Jim. And I donated to his silent auction this piece called Spartan, because that's all about our warriors and our
Right.
protectors. And so that, you know, if you told me go draw a picture of a Spartan soldier, I don't know that I could actually do it. It would take a lot of prep. This was just like a spontaneous line drawing that like you get kind of about halfway through and you're like, that looks like armor. That looks like a shield and a spear. And then I ended up translating it into this piece of what it is now. And so I think I had some of that come out. I had a jackal that came out. So I think Anubis, the Egyptian god, sort of made an appearance in my art. And then I have another one that was a griffin, which was, you know, the head of an eagle, body of a lion, and wings. And so I think that is some of what appeared during, you know, that very
time.
heated COVID time. Yeah.
So let's find out again, your website, is it man with 2 N's?
One N in man. Yes.
Okay. So it's man, MAN, scribe,
Yes.
like SCRIBE.
Yes.
.com. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're also in the Village at
I'm
the
in the
gallery there. What is it? The Artist Gallery?
The Village Gallery,
The Village
of local
Gallery.
artists with the metal horse sculpture out front.
Okay, cool. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Well, your work is incredible. Now, I saw you at Sedona Art Center.
Yes.
Because you're very much involved, I believe, as one of the artists that shows up to some of their, when they have like showings.
That was my first holiday bazaar that I participated in, and I hope to be able to do it in the future. I've had a really good year developing my relationship with Sedona Art Center, because I was accepted and participated in their Sedona Entrepreneurial Artist Development Workshop that they had in March, and I was happy. I received a seed grant so that I can invest that back into my work and develop myself. And then I just did 2 amazing metalsmithing classes with them.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll tell you what, Sedona Art Center is fantastic. A shout out to Julie Richard.
Yes.
You know,
amazing
Bernadette over there. Kelly Clemenco. Oh my gosh, these people are amazing. And
J.D. Jensen and Jake Henderson.
Oh,
CJ
yeah.
Henderson, yes.
Oh, no, these people are incredible. That's where I will begin my ceramics again.
Yes.
I learned from Dennis Ott, who is no longer with us, but
his memory is a blessing.
Yeah, that's for sure. So thank you, Brenda. I can't believe we are like up and out of time.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Brenda Man Fletcher. Remember, you want to check out her art. It is at manscribe.com. And you can find her in the Village at, again?
Village Gallery of Local Artists.
There you go. Thank you, Brenda, for being here.
Thank you.
It's so wonderful. And you guys stay with me. I'll be right back.
You've explored the trails, stood in awe of the red rocks. Now discover how Sedona became Sedona. The Sedona Heritage Museum tells the story of Red Rock country, from ancient cultures to today's vibrant community. It's interactive, family-friendly, and open year-round, indoors and out. Sedona Heritage Museum, preserving and sharing the soul of Red Rock country. Plan your visit at sedonamuseum.org or call 928-282-7038.
Take a deep breath and let it go. At Sedona's New Day Spa, your escape begins the moment you arrive. Enjoy luxurious massages, rejuvenating facials, and native-inspired body treatments. Every moment is designed to restore balance and renew your spirit. Voted Sedona's Best Day Spa, this is more than self-care. It's your sanctuary. Book your experience today at sedonanewdayspa.com or call 928-282-7502.
Need a clean car fast? Come to Cleaner, Quicker Car Wash. We'll have you sparkling and back on the road in minutes. Whether you're after a quick shine or a deep clean, you'll get top quality service, eco-friendly soaps, and smiles all around. Drive up, shine up, and feel good, all without slowing down your day. And look like a star in your car. Located in West Sedona on Highway 89A. For more information, visit cleanerquickercarwash.com.
Here's more of Backstage Pass with Chandra, brought to you by Chef Lisa Dahl.
I have to say, all of the guests that come on to my show are absolutely fabulous individuals with wonderful backgrounds. And I love... Oh, do you hear that? You know what that means. It's time for my shameless Chandra spot. Now that it's June, the wedding season is beginning to kind of die down a little bit. That's right, we still have them, but not as much as when it starts up again, September, October, November, and maybe through half of December. Anyway, just want to let you know this, that you probably know me as a singer-songwriter, hosting this show, an actor. Did you know that I've actually been officiating weddings since June of 2020? It's true. And before that, I spent about 28 years as a professional DJ, kind of side hustling, you know what I mean? And I know all the secrets of the ins and outs of emceeing, crowd control, your wedding party control, and event coordination. I know exactly how an event should flow and how to handle the unexpected and how to keep the energy flowing and upbeat. Now, whether you're looking for an intimate, sacred ceremony with the breathtaking Sedona Red Rocks in the background, or a grand, elegant celebration at one of our premier luxury resorts, or a beautiful commitment ceremony or vow renewal, I tailor everything to your unique ceremony. And here's the thing, I can officiate your ceremony, step up with my guitar to perform beautiful live music, songs of your choice. You get an officiant, a seasoned MC, and a live musician and singer, all in one seamless package. So I invite you to check out SedonaVowsAndMusic.com, check out all that's there, take a look, take the tour, and then let's start planning together. Remember, SedonaVowsAndMusic.com. I want to thank my guest again, Scott Yates from the Dahl Restaurant Group, who happens to also be my presenting sponsor here of Sedona's Backstage Pass, and a big shout out to Chef Lisa Dahl, and my other guest, Brenda Man Fletcher. Thank you both for being on my show today. And I want to thank my sponsors, the Sedona Heritage Museum, Sefton Engineering, Cleaner Quicker Car Wash, the Sedona New Day Spa, Sedona.biz, and again, my presenting sponsor, the Dahl Restaurant Group and Chef Lisa Dahl. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in again. Remember, this is a weekly podcast, and actually, this is sort of an extra podcast for this month. So be sure to tune in a few days, and you'll hear the next episode. In the meantime, be sure to get your VIP pass ready, enjoy life, and take care.